Good evening. Welcome to the continuing NYS Masterclass series. I'm Darwin Shen, and it is my great pleasure to introduce clarinetist Anthony McGill. Anthony is one of classical music's most recognizable and brilliantly multifaceted figures. He serves as the principal clarinet of the New York Philharmonic, that orchestra's first African-American principal player, and maintains a dynamic international solo and chamber music career, most recently winning the Avery Fisher Prize. Just as a side note, I would like everyone to know that obviously we are a youth orchestra organization, and Anthony and Jonathan Yates were both members of the Chicago Youth Symphony. So that's how the connection was made, and we are very fortunate to have him. Thank you, Anthony, for coming.
Thanks. Great to be here. Hi, everybody. So I guess we'll just get started. Let's see. Sadie, would you like to? Who's first? Ben, would you like to go first?
Yeah. Hello.
Great.
Yeah. My name is Ben. And I'll play Weber's Fantasia from Fantasia and Rondo.
Excellent. Yeah, wonderful. Great job, Ben.
Thank you.
Um, this is from the clarinet quintet, right?
Uh, no, no, it's from the Fantasian Rondo. Uh,
Yeah. So this is the Fantasia and Rondo is taken from the clarinet quintet, actually.
yeah, 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 right.
Yeah, for clarinet and strings. So it's also it can be played by itself, solo, because it's such a beautiful melody. And most of the time, and where I've played it is with clarinet and string quartet. So it's a really nice arrangement that you can
Yeah.
do, I suppose, with piano. But you can the way I've done this is with string quartet. For it's really gorgeous. If you all haven't listened to that piece, it's a wonderful, wonderful work. Um, so, you know, Weber's music is very operatic, of course, as you know, and you do a really good job of singing through the clarinet. You have a really nice tone and way of expressing. So I just want to bring that out more. I want you to kind of be free to express as though you were on stage, singing about something very particular, like some sort of story, some sort of storyline, some sort of narrative that you follow when you're doing this. Okay, so
Okay.
let's just go from the beginning,
Okay.
and let's see. I want you to really look at the phrase and see where you're going. So when you're starting from the first measure, that one's the easy one because it has the hairpins going to that E in the third bar. But here, make sure you also save room to grow into that third bar of this next phrase as well. Okay?
Okay.
So let's start from the beginning. Yeah, that's very beautiful. Very beautiful. So, what I want you to do is I want you to think about something else as well. The sound is coming out nicely, but I want you to relax that left shoulder, that left arm.
Okay.
You've probably been told that, right? Just sometimes I mention this because it can affect the sound, but
Okay.
also because I don't want you to get hurt while playing. And this is something that happens when we do strange things. We all get a little too tense when we play. I do as well. So I just want you to be careful because you're still young and strong, and I want you to stay healthy. Like just make sure that that doesn't go up. We even practice in front of a mirror, so you keep that
Okay.
under control, under wraps, so to speak. So you just play more relaxed. It's really good for the body, but also for the music making. Okay,
Okay.
great. So let's go on. And so pam pi da da dim, pam 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 pi. So when you have moved the same notes repeated, I want you to move through those a little bit so that there's direction in those repeated E's coming up.
Okay.
Tan, 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 ti, ya, da, di, do, 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 di. And then you can relax after that. Ya, da,
Okay.
di, do, 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 ri, dum. Okay?
Okay.
Um, Great. Let's just go from the D sharp.
Okay.
Go on.
Oh, sorry.
Sure. Yeah. Nice. 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 I thought that was very operatic, especially with the dynamic change at the end. It was quite beautiful. But I want that legato to be a little bit better.
Okay.
Just a little bit more smooth in
Yeah.
the pianissimo section in the low register. Okay, just try that and then go
Oh,
on. Yes, the thing about legato is that sometimes, even if we move a lot and you're very expressive, and I move around a lot too, is that in those moments where we want it to be smoother, try not moving. Try not moving
okay.
the body, because what you're doing is you're accenting notes that you don't necessarily want to be accented.
Okay.
So just a movement like that is better, a smooth one, you know. Good, good. So going on a little bit more espressivo and outgoing here. Yes, this is nice. This is nice. So a lot of drama at the beginning, and then when you have this more gentle, more dolce,
Okay.
more sweet sound here. Yes. Yeah, that was lovely, except it says poco rallentando.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
realized how that phone you
right, it was a little bit too much, right? But so don't try not to start it too soon. Maybe just wait on the G and
Yeah.
then go on. Just go from the fortissimo low B with more legato, more espressivo in the fortissimo. Ah, yeah. So here's one part where you kind of double time it here, and I want you to stay in eight.
Oh,
Ba
oh.
ya
Yeah.
dee.
Right.
Yeah,
Random.
that's okay. You just played real quarter notes instead of slow quarter
Yeah,
notes.
yeah.
And here and Ben, here, just another little correction. This
Okay.
is really dramatic and really awesome sounding. But yeah, it should be a B flat here.
Right.
So
Yeah. No,
those
I'm quite far away from him. Yeah. Here, out of the structure.
yeah, so that's the B flat stays over and on the next one as well. And then
Right.
the next time we have that big chromatic run, it is the B natural. So that makes it really interesting and
Okay.
different compared to this one. Good. And here, dum, dee, dum. You could do that a little slower if you would like.
Okay.
Nice. Good. So going on, and this part, um,
Yeah.
a little bit more, how should I say, it? Haunting, and a little bit more like from at a distance here. When
Okay.
we return to this beautiful melody, it's like all of this stuff, dramatic stuff, has happened, and then we return to some place that is maybe sadder than it was at the very beginning. You know. Nice. Now, so this one, could you do this first one a little bit, the last two notes a little bit faster? Bam,
Yeah. Okay.
and then this next one, bam, you could do a little
Okay.
slower to be like more affected by whatever the pain is that you're feeling, right?
Oh.
Yeah, bravo. That's really nice.
Thank
Really
you.
nice. Just keep exploring that. And definitely listen to the quintet version because there's so much in the color with the strings that you'll really appreciate, I think, and get a lot out of here. Um, so keep working on trying to expand the sound and the colors that you can get from the instrument by thinking about what your tone is doing, like what you're saying with your sound and how you're singing through the instrument, okay?
Okay.
And keep that left arm
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. I,
Great, bravo, thank you.
thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Great.
Next, we have
So,
Sadie.
Sadie, okay, great.
Hello, I'm Sadie.
Hi, Sadie.
Howard Hanson. There.
Sadie, I can't hear your voice, but maybe I can hear your flute playing. So maybe the flute playing dynamic might be at the right level. Let's just hear it for a second. Yeah, try once again. I'll just turn my volume. Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah, I can hear it now. Thanks.
Okay. Can I start?
Sure. Wonderful. Beautiful. Um, Lovely. So, Sadie, how and why did you pick this piece?
Um, Originally I had played it a few years ago, but I've gotten back into it for a competition.
Great. And just out of curiosity, do you know Howard Hanson's other pieces, other music?
Um, no, I haven't really played other music.
Okay. Well, Howard Hanson is an interesting composer because he's not well known, but I know of him because I went to Interlaken for summer camp and for the academy. And so anyone who went to Interlaken knows his music because it's one of the theme songs for all of our concerts. We play a movement of his romantic symphony, and it's like a tradition. And I think they still do that. I'm not sure, but so you should really listen to it because it's one of my favorite pieces, just because of that experience during the summer at Interlaken. But I think it's also really, really gorgeous music, and it's really romantic music. Uh, so especially him being an American composer, it's really, really interesting to be able to listen to his works. Okay, when you get a chance,
Mhm.
and just generally speaking, it's great to listen to composers' music that is not the piece that you're playing. So you get a sense of what type of composer is this? What kind of language, what kind of musical language does the composer use? What kind of things do he or she to like to do in their music? And sometimes it's different. It varies. There are different periods that people go through as creators and composers. But if you're going to be, think of yourself as the new creator of the music of this composer. So it's helpful to know what the other music sounds like of this composer. So you can kind of get into the mind and the heart of that composer when you're playing it. So you become like the creator as well. Not only a recreator, but a creator of the piece yourself. So lovely playing. I want you to think I want you to think about what type of expression you're using at different times and how that affects um, the speed and the quality and the expressive quality of the vibrato you choose to use. So when you're playing, I want you to not just like go on, kind of like we go on autopilot, right? But I want you to think really carefully about where are you in the shape of the piece? Where are you um, in the story of the work as you're playing it? So that might influence, how you blow through the instrument, how you sing on your instrument. So it might change depending on if you're playing piano or playing forte or fortissimo, for instance. So I
Mhm.
want you to think a little bit about that and see if you can find a way to like communicate that clearly to us. So at the start of the piece, maybe you're a little bit more dolce or peaceful in the sound quality before it gets really like high and expressive and just outgoing and wonderful, right? So, can you start this again? And with that in mind, like you're gonna take us on a journey, but it doesn't always start pieces. And the cue is the clue is like the piano marking at the beginning. You can think maybe like the beginning of not quite as soft, but like something like the beginning of Afternoon of a Faun or something like that. With these rhythms, with the 16th notes and the dotted 16th note, 32nd notes, it kind of reminds me of some of that style music, like that beautiful, or of like Daphnis or something, the solo in Daphnis. Think like that. And of course, another cue or clue is the flute, harp, and string orchestra sound. That's going to have a different feel than a full big orchestra with percussion and brass and all of these things. Or like for instance the Nielsen kind of sound. So think about that when you start this to see if that affects how you can communicate it a little more clearly, okay? Yes, and when you go, that was lovely. And when you go da dee da dee do, there's not a diminuendo marked, but it feels like there should be
Mhm.
there. So I want you to use your knowledge of music and um, your skill at playing, and also your ear and your heart to determine what extra dynamics can you put in a piece to make it match the harmonies and match the beauty of the work. And that's an example of that. Is that if we listen to it, I assume that there would be something changing there harmonically that would require you to play more sensitively at the end of that measure, perhaps. Okay, so just start maybe the measure before and think about that in that measure. So this is 3/1.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. That's good. Now go on. Good. Can you tell me, um, in these four bars, one, two, three, in these four bars, where is the kind of peculiar note? Is there a strange note that sounds, or an interval that sounds kind of shocking and surprising?
Mm, the D after.
Yes, exactly. So I want you to listen to music and discover things about it, and then tell us the listener, um, why this is strange, like with your music. Da 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 dee, da dee, da 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 dee, da da da. This weird note here. You have to do a little bit more, and I want it to be more legato before that, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, and more connected. Even with the phrase marking, I still want it to be more connected. Yes, exactly. And then that's really clear to us that there's something strange happening, something brewing that we want to discover. You think about the intervals that you play as um, almost being like something that you discover in a box of like a gift box of wonder. You're like looking at, you're bringing out this thing that's okay. You bring out a couple of these things, these toys that are like really beautiful, and they seem like very similar, and then all of a sudden you discover something else that's much more of a surprise. And you can think about playing music like that as well, or if you're reading a story or reading a book or you're watching a play, and the thing that is the twist in the story. Sometimes composers use harmony and use notes in the same way. It's like it's shaping a narrative, and then they're not going to do it so everything is so simple that you just expect everything and they can just keep giving you that. But the interest comes for the listener when there's a surprise, there's suspense, and there's surprise, right? So I want you to think about that when you play. Okay, let's go on after two. Yeah. So here, there are a lot of accents that you're playing with. I'm not sure you know that I'm not sure you mean to do. If you mean them, that's one thing. But if they're accidental accents, then I'm not sure you want them. Just because we're not tonguing does not mean we're not articulating. And sometimes with our accents that are not on purpose, we're actually articulating things. And I think this should be a little bit smoother. Okay, see if you can get this more legato. Yeah, yeah, this is better because then you can actually accent the things that are more expressive, the things that you mean to accent, like when he has that hairpin. Bum, ba-da-dee-dee-ah-dee-um, ba-da-dee-dee-ah-dum, brr-dum. That's where you should be accenting. At the beginning, we need to hear the line. Dee-ah-dee-ah-dee-um, be-da-da-dee-dee-ah-dee, bum, da-dee-ah-dee-um, be-oh. I think it could still be smoother. Could you try it again? Every time you move the fingers, there shouldn't be an accent or a bump to the sound. And I think if you think a little bit with further down the line of the phrase, you won't do that as much actually. If you give it like about a 2 bar phrase at least at a time, it'll be smoother. Okay. Yeah, I really like that a lot more. So I think that's the kind of sound you should be searching for. That better. How smooth can you play from note to note? Because the sound is much more expressive that way, and we're not getting stopped by these accents that you don't mean to do, right? So I would love if you just work on that sort of expression. So just a little bit more, please, from three. Yeah, nice. Now could you save the intensity of the vibrato for the places where you have repeated notes and then crescendo to the sforzando? That's where you need more of that vibrato. But at the beginning, it can be expressive, but see what the speed is. See what use the speed that is normal for that dynamic marking. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So then I can follow it much better as far as where's the peak of the phrase? Where is the peak expression in this moment in the piece? And that becomes a lot more um, clear to the listener, I think. Okay. Uh, great. So let's see. One one more minute. Let's just go on from five, please. And these when you have these runs like this, they should be much more expressive. Okay. So let's just go from five, and then we'll finish up.
Do you have a measure number for that?
Oh, it's just the forte. I believe it's an high A.
The first one?
Yeah, dee da 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 dee da 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 da, like there.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Yeah, this is nice. And then later in this piece and right here, when you have pianos, or you have surprising dynamics, you have to exaggerate them a bit more, okay? And then that'll work better for like the contrast of the story, you know. Great playing. Nice to hear you.
Thank
Bravo. Yeah, wonderful.
And next
So
we have Joy.
Hi, I'm Joy. I'll be playing Brahms' Second Sonata, first movement.
great. Thank you.
Should I stop there?
Sure, if you'd like, or you can keep playing to the end. Is that all you would like to play?
It's 8 minutes long, so I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, we still have a bunch of time left, so yeah, let's stop there. Thank you. It's lovely. Um, that last part is my favorite part. That's the only reason I was gonna have you continue to play.
Oh, I can
Um,
go ahead if you want.
yeah, why don't you? Because we're so close, and it's such a nice section coming up that I feel like we should finish it off, and then we'll
Okay.
talk about a small portion of that. Okay.
Okay. Is it good?
Good. Why don't you skip to L and just play that? Because that's the really beautiful part. Yeah, great, beautiful playing. Such a wonderful piece, and so we'd like to hear the piece. And another thing I like to do is to um, is when I'm practicing and rehearsing a piece like this, is that I like to perform it. You know, I think a lot of times we spend a lot of our practice time just practicing little parts of the piece, you know, and sometimes it's good to just play through the whole thing so we get a sense of what it feels like with our embouchure to be able to do so, you know, and we get a sense of what the piece really feels like to perform and to tell the whole story of the piece instead of just working little bits at a time. So that's why I wanted you to play more, tonight, even though we have a short amount of time to work on something, right? And so I think I want you to do that in your practice as well, because it's a different feeling to just practice a piece than it is to like perform it all the way through. And maybe you've performed this piece. Have you performed it?
No, I haven't.
Right. So it's good to get that first performance out, you know, into the world. So you feel what the challenges are of the work, because they're different than in your practice room. The challenges of playing for others and playing for people and playing for your computer, it's very
Yeah.
difficult. It's different and it's nerve-wracking. And so it's good to practice that and to play these pieces that you've worked all these hours on for people in your house or whatever, or your pet or whoever, you know, to play the pieces for someone, because it's so different and it's really important to do so. You learn so much. You learn what are the really difficult spots, and they can be different sometimes than the ones you thought they were. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning, and I want to see if we can take a little bit of a faster tempo with this, just a little bit more flowing, because it felt very careful, but maybe too careful, you know,
Okay.
at
All
this
right.
tempo. So it still felt like you were practicing it, and I want us to take more of the performance tempo. Okay?
All right.
So just a little bit more flowing, and then just relax and see what happens. But really, I just wanted to sing a lot more. Right now, I'm hearing a lot of, and this happens with all of us sometimes, is that we hear the clarinet playing, but we don't hear the voice. I don't hear you um, beneath the clarinet playing. Like, I need to hear your voice underneath the notes. Okay? So I need you to, for instance, it's also really important to listen to this piece a lot. How many times do you think you've listened to this piece?
4 to 5.
Yes, that was my thought. You need to listen to this piece 400 to 500 times, at least. And really, you should listen to it almost every day while you're practicing it, because you will play it so much better if you have a voice already inside of you that knows what it's in your ear and your heart and your mind, that knows what you think it should go like, what you think it should sound like right away. Not you practicing it, but other people that have practiced it many, many more times than you. You can listen to them, and by listening to them a lot, you will be able to play closer to what that sounds like, and what you will discover your own voice by doing so. Yeah, 4 or 5 times. You've probably practiced this how many times?
A lot. I don't know, maybe 30, 40.
Yeah. So
Like
this is
in the entirety.
yeah. So this is a really interesting thing, and I want everyone on this call to remember this. You need to listen 3 times as much as you practice. This is the secret to getting better. It's a little secret, don't tell anyone. But you really need to listen 3 or 4 or 5 times the amount of times you practice the piece. Because if you do, then it's like having a free lesson on the work. So I can talk to you, and this is why I'm doing all this talking, right? We have maybe 5 minutes or so left. But in the time that we spend together in this masterclass, you could listen to this piece, and many times over the next week or two or month, and you can hear all the things that I would tell you in this class about what to do with this piece and how to play this piece and how you can sing on it a little bit better. Because there are all these professionals out there, myself included, who have played this piece and practiced it thousands of times to your 30. And we've listened to it hundreds and thousands of times. And then we play it and we put out a recording, or somebody puts out a recording, and then they do it. All you have to do, it's like, it really is like a cheat sheet for music. The amount of recordings that are out there that you all can like listen to and absorb. It's really amazing. And you can pretend to play along with it. Okay? And it's super helpful. So let's go back to the beginning. And I want you to flow a little bit more. Very nice. Very nice. So I want you to play it like that. And when
Okay.
you listen to recordings, I want you to think about what dynamics people are playing, what timing, what pacing, what type of tone they're using, and then I want you to imitate that. And different recordings, you play different ways, right? So it's the big secret that we have forgotten a little bit now that we have access to so much data. So think about all of the recordings out there as data that we could download into your brain, into your heart. There's so much more of it now, but we don't listen to enough of it now. When I was growing up, there might have been, I could get my hands on one or two recordings, right? You can get your hands on, or not your hands on, but your eyes on and your ears on thousands of them, hundreds of them. So that's what I want you to do. And then I want you to play along with them. And then that's how you get an idea of how do I play like those great musicians that I know of and I respect. And it's a really fast way to be able to do that, and then you have the power for yourself. So that was already much more singing and beautiful because it felt like you, right? Instead of waiting for me to tell you what to play like, you can play like that yourself with a little listening and a little effort on your part to really shine and show what you think about the piece, what you feel about it as a musician, and how it reaches you with every note. Every note in this piece means something in particular. Okay, it means something specific. And right now, it's like I hear, before this version, I heard clarinet playing that was waiting to be molded. But what I'm saying is that you already have it inside of you. You just need a little bit more research, a little bit more singing, and use your air a little bit more efficiently, like a singer. So take 2 deep breaths and start again and sing more. And try to sing. I gave you my voice version, my singing version. I want you to give the clarinet version of that. Okay?
Okay.
Great. So that ba da 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 team, those are too long. Ba da dee da dee. Wonderful job. We have to move on now. But in places like that, when you're playing it along with the recording, not only can the recording help you with the musical ideas, it can help you with the technique and the rhythm, you see, because you would know if you were playing along to the recording, actually. You would say, oh, I'm holding those notes way too long. Oh, this part I need to work on more. Oh, this part, this will be nice slower, like this person did. Or I can do this really mysterious, like this other person did. And so you can copy and then produce your own beautiful voice when you're playing these pieces. Okay? So, bravo. Thanks.
Next up, we have Dania.
Hi, I'm Dania, and I'm going to be playing the concerto by Gordelli.
Okay, hi, Daniel. Thank you. Bravo. Wonderful. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. And actually, I'm going to ask a question, and this is for everyone. I think you sound lovely, and I think it's very musical and nice, and everyone sounds really great that played tonight. So bravo. But I want to ask a question about long tones. And I want to know how many of you play long tones, like a lot, every day? Great. So the flute players raise their hand because it is really important. And Ben's talking, you're muted though. but uh, but in any case, everyone should. Clarinet players especially. We should be playing our long tones every day. What were you gonna
I
say,
might
Ben?
have I might have a wrong idea of what it
Yeah,
means,
just like long tone exercises where you're holding notes for long periods of time to warm up, but also
but
just to improve your sound. Long
yeah, no,
tones. Yeah. Yeah, this is really important. And I know for flute players it's really important because you might know my brother's a flute player. Uh, and and every time we get together and we play something or we rehearse, he does like so many long tones when warming up, and I just know how important, and even growing up too as well. So I understand how important that is, especially for us clarinet players too, but all instruments. To spend time just with your tone alone is something that is really, really important. So I want you to think about this when you play a piece like this, or any piece for that matter, but this piece, that I want you to imagine what does the best sound that you can imagine sound like? And then I want you to play with that tone, like right now, and when you're doing long tones. So, what I don't want everyone to do, and myself included, when I'm trying to do long tones, I don't want you to play like yourself. That's not the point. The point is, and we're gonna get those recordings out, and we're gonna go online and listen to all these recordings um, for the next few weeks, right? Or months or years, and we're gonna pick our favorite tone, and then we're gonna do our long tones, and we're gonna just try to sound like that. It sounds like I'm saying it's simple, and I'm not saying that. It's difficult, but it's not as difficult as you think, because the capacity for the brain to copy, to mirror, is very great. Okay, and so when you're playing, I don't want you to hear yourself. I want you to hear the best version of yourself that sounds like the best tone that you can imagine, the best vibrato that you can imagine, with using the best air and confidence that you can imagine. And the reason why listening is so important is that if you can't imagine it while you're playing, then you will not ever get that. You will never get that. So you have to imagine it. It has to be there in your ear, and then you have to do it. So what I want you to do is to play like that right now, with the support that you need, with all the technique that you've learned and know, and then do that to produce the sound that you know is the best sound. Yeah. So the second or third notes were better than the first note. Can you just play the first note with the tone that you want and just hold it really quickly? And start with that sound. Right. Can you take a deeper breath and then support and be proud of it and then do it again, just holding it, but with more resonance? Yeah. Yeah. That's closer. And I've seen my brother give master classes, so I know this. This is for everyone, flute players. He would say, "Yes, that's close. Now give me like twice as much of that as that. Yeah, still with all of the control that you had before, but with more resonance, more focus, and beauty in the sound. Good. And now with the confidence of the previous one. Yes. Do you hear that? That's better, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now that's what I'm talking about. It's like that's why we do long tones, is because all of you on this call in this class know how to produce better sounds. You all know how to do this. And the issue is, how do we get from this to that? And that's what you're going to do in practice. So a lot of time in practice, we pick up the clarinet or the flute, and we play a couple notes, and we work on some things that maybe are hard. We try to learn some notes. We try to learn more notes. We try to play them in the right place and learn some more notes. But we don't spend enough time actually sounding better when we know how to sound better already. We practice and we practice, and then we take it to our lesson or we take it to a class, and we're waiting to hear something that will make us sound better. But you know what's funny is that you all already know how to sound great. You sound good now, all of you. But you already know how to sound great. And sometimes it's just about choosing to practice in that way. Like, I know I have this great sound in me. I know what to do. I've been told many times. I've had plenty of lessons. Then now I'm going to do this, and I'm going to listen to more recordings, and I'm going to do it. And you'll be surprised that just in like 5 seconds, you played a few different notes, and the last one was the best one, right? So just imagine if you did that every day with your playing. So can you start from the beginning, and then just magnify that by just playing the piece with that tone, and actually better than that.
Should I keep going?
Yeah, definitely. Always keep going until I stop. But this was really nice. I want you to get into that. I want you to get into that sound, and even make it shimmer a little bit more. Okay. Good. This is great. Now, what do you think will help 1 before 2 and 2 before 2 sound better? What aspect of the playing do you think would make it sound better, or of what you're doing while you're playing?
I think I could put a little more emphasis on the notes that aren't staccato and make the staccato notes a little less detached, because I think they're a little too sharp.
Okay, that's a nice idea. And I was going to suggest as well, in addition, that it sounds a little bit like you're running out of air, perhaps.
Yeah.
And I would try to mark a breath in there that didn't allow that to happen. Because sometimes part of playing with our best sound is making sure we have enough air to do so, and to make that shimmery sound that you start with. And I think it could be even more shimmery. So could we start 1, 2, 3, 4 before 2, and make sure you have enough air to play with your best sound. Yeah, this was cleaner. So the two, one before two, these notes D was a more pure sound at the beginning of the note. Instead of having, like on the clarinet as well, we have sometimes, if we don't use enough air when we're playing clarinet, we get this and we hear this reed sound and we don't hear the tone first. It's because our air isn't there to make it, the instrument vibrate and shimmer right away. So just remember that you can always have more, and it's not louder or faster. It's just more attention to the quality of the tone. Some of that is caused by what the embouchure is doing. Some is caused by the support, and another part is caused by just attention to that detail. Okay, so could you try two and sing through the 16th notes? Try not to accent them. Yeah, nice. This is nice. Now, could you so I'm moving my head around like you're not as you need to be more expressive on those 16th notes, right? Just with the quality of the sound and what you're doing with the air and just phrasing them instead of all of the expression is coming on the bumpy bumpy. Those are great. It's the 16th notes that need more expression.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and now sing through the eighth notes. Not it's good. Now try this one again. Good. And now for everyone, this is another practice technique I use. When you have a bunch of fast notes or a tricky passage, when you practice, I want you to identify where the notes and the intervals, where are the intervals that you have trouble playing, the two notes. Do you know where they are in this passage for you?
I think it's from the F at the bottom, F in the first set of four to the A flat.
Yes, that is correct. Right. So I put a little mark in my music that just looks like this from the F to the A flat that looks just like this, like a triangle with the bottom is missing on the triangle from one note to the next. And that lets me know what I need to practice, but it also gets my eyes to focus on that and my fingers to actually go to the right note. Okay? It's another secret for technical practice that is very, very, very useful. You should never practice like and then repeat again. This is what we do over and over and over and over again in our practice. What I want you to do next time that happens in your practice is I want you to stop after the first time and take out your pencil or repeat it again to make sure you know which notes are a little bit troublesome and then mark that in. Or if it's an accidental that you're missing, mark that in. Not all of them, but it's usually just one or two notes here or there. And we just repeat over and over again expecting it to be better without actually identifying the problem and then fixing it right away. Okay? Yeah, exactly. That was pretty much perfect. And there might have been something else later that down there that wasn't as clean as you would like, but that's how you practice. And it really is as simple as that. So never just practice while playing and just kind of think, oh, well, it's going to get better if I just practice it more. No, you should know exactly what happens, and you identified it right away, which is really great because first of all, you have to listen, and then it gets better, right? Try it one more time. and then da, 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 da. Make sure you have enough air to make those articulations clear. Yeah, that's great. So we're gonna have to stop there, but wonderful playing, everyone. Danya, bravo. It's really great. Great to hear you all.
I'd like to thank all the participants for their lovely playing, for being brave and playing as well. And in the remaining time, we have a couple of moments for a couple of questions. So I'm going to throw it open, and if you just text or write the questions in the chat. So I'll start with my patented first question for Anthony, which is, when did you realize that you wanted to be a musician?
Oh, I think probably when I was 12 or 13, perhaps 13, 14. And I started playing in youth orchestra. I started in youth orchestra very young, like age 11, and but when I went on my first international tour, and I just experienced that, it was like I just knew. So it was around the youth orchestra time, 11, 12, 13, 14, that I knew I wanted to become a musician.
And I know your older brother is a flutist as well, as you mentioned. Did that help in making you want to do what he did?
Oh yeah, that's really the reason I wanted to play music at all, is because I wanted to be like him. I wanted to do the same things as him, and he was really really attracted to the flute and really practiced a lot when I was young, before I ever played an instrument. And so it was inspiring for me to just try to do the same thing when I started playing.
I'm trying to see if we have any. Nobody has asked any questions here. Oh, wait. What challenges have you faced in your career, and how have you overcome them?
I've faced many challenges in my career, and um, probably too many to describe here. But overcoming them is about identifying, um, what is a real problem, if there's a real problem, and what is one that is manufactured by myself, and how can I defeat that. And another thing is, if it's something that's an external issue or challenge or problem or difficulty, how can I best focus on what I'm doing in order to achieve what I would like to achieve? And breaking through whatever barrier that is, in a way, is being able to acknowledge it, and then to face the challenge head on, to defeat it, if you know what I mean. And sometimes that means just showing up. Sometimes it means being disappointed and upset and hurt by something, and then turning the corner and just going through and continuing to do the work that I know I could do.
I have a technical question here from Kathy Taylor. What mouthpiece, reeds, and ligature do you use, and what clarinet do you play?
It depends on the week, but I play a buffet clarinet. I play a buffet RC Prestige right now, and I use Van Doren reeds, and I use Van Doren mouthpieces. I use Play Easy mouthpiece, and Nick Kookmeyer mouthpiece, the Tosca, and a Nomos 2 mouthpiece. And I also played Richard Hawkins mouthpieces for many years, and I still have those as well.
We have a bunch of questions, so we'll try and get them as quickly in as possible. Are there vocalists who inspire you musically?
Yes. Jesse Norman. let's see, Diana Damrau, Kathleen Battle, um, Joyce DiDonato. So many, so
And you played
many.
with the Met Opera Orchestra too, so you got
I did.
all the greats.
Yeah, yeah, for 10 years.
What inspired you to play music, and what was your biggest fear in life?
Well, my brother inspired me to play music, and my biggest fear in life, ah, greatest fear. That's a tough one. Um, I would say that, like a lot of people, especially this summer, this year, fear of death. Let's just be honest about it, okay? Let's just put that out there. That's the obvious one, but sometimes it's good to say, okay? Sometimes it's good to say. But you know what? That's an okay thing, because like maybe you'll live life more fully that way, right? If you admit to that. Um, but musically speaking, it's just the normal fears of walking out and being embarrassed, and or walking out and someone not liking your playing, or all of these insecurities that we have that makes us super nervous. I have all of them. The anxiety of the performance that won't go well. But you know what? Then I've had those performances that don't go well, and life goes on. The next day comes, and that's it. I forget about it. Hopefully, other people forget about it, and you move along. You know.
I have one here that just says, uh, if was one thing you could tell us that you love the most about your career, what would you say it is?
Oh gosh, I love music. So it sounds so simple to say, but I love music, and I love performing music. And under normal circumstances, I perform music a lot, and that's what I love to do. So that's what's amazing about the career, is that I get to be around musicians and I get to play music, and I really enjoy that.
Two final questions. One is quite simple. How long have you played the clarinet?
Oh gosh,
20 minutes?
I've played for 40. No, I've played for 30 years. Yeah.
And then just a final question, which I ask always, which is if you have any advice for students who are wanting to go into music.
Yes, I think you must know that music is what you want to do. Like, you must know that um, you want to go through music, and you want to go into music with all its ups and downs and all these things, that sometimes you're just a musician. Some people love music and don't want to be a musician, and that's fine too. But if you go into music, you have to really love it. You have to think that where you are, it's like there's nothing else I want to do besides to play music, and to hopefully get paid to do so in the future. But you have to want to be around music. You can be a musician and go into music and not be a performer in music too, and still play your instrument and enjoy it and do all of these things. So there are lots of different opportunities within the field of music, but I would say that's the most important thing, is that um, it has to be kind of something that is a part of who you are, and that you want to nurture that part of who you are. Or it can be all of who you are is a musician, and that's okay too. And that's what I would say.
I actually also have a question, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Um, have you ever played any like formula duets or something with your brother? Because I know you've been inspired by him. I only ask because I also have a brother. He used to play the piano, and I was wondering.
Yeah, my brother and I have been playing together for many years, and we have a few albums out that you can listen to online. We have a trio album with clarinet, flute, and piano with a trio Michael McHale, and called Portraits. and we have a duo album with the Chicago Youth Symphony, actually, our old youth orchestra, of us playing a few concertos that were written for us and a couple standard concertos for flute, clarinet, and orchestra. So it's something we do regularly.
I apologize. One last question, which is a really great question. Could you please describe the way you practice?
Yeah, I gave a little bit of a glimpse into that today during today's class. But first of all, I do believe in practicing a lot. Like, I really do. I believe in spending a lot of time practicing and having that as a goal. It's not the only goal, but I think it actually is an important one as a goal to set, to have a lot of time to practice, even if you don't have time to practice. Secondly, I don't practice for a long period of time in a row. So you don't make sure you take care of yourself and you don't hurt yourself. So I like to spend a lot of time practicing, but it's not like 5 hours in a row. Please don't do that. Please like break up your practice into smaller chunks of really focused practice. Second and thirdly, make sure you practice with a pencil. And so you can take notes while you're practicing that will help you play the music better. We always forget that we can take out a pencil and write things in that may help us. Identifying what your mistakes are and then redoing them slowly without those particular mistakes is another method. And it's something so simple that when you're practicing, pay attention. Don't just like repeat things over and over again without paying attention to what's going wrong or what's going right as well. We have to listen to ourselves when we practice and pay attention. And that's a really important thing. And then the other thing is to have fun and to sight read.
Well, thank you again for taking time out from your busy schedule. I know how busy you are from before, so he has this much time to spend with us. It's an incredible gift. So
Thank you so much. Yeah, great to see you, and thanks everyone. Bravo to you. It's not easy playing for your computer. I know it's very challenging. So bravo to you, and hello to everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.